Hello, my name is Shay Klingbill, and I'm the Alaska State Director for MUFON. Today we're going to take a look at some commonly misidentified objects that people think are a UFO. A few days ago, someone showed me a picture and said, "I have captured a photo of a UFO," and they were very, very excited. So we took a look at it, and it was Venus. But to be fair, Venus is very, very good at its job. It's one of the brightest objects in the sky and can look surprisingly large, colorful, and mysterious, especially when it's low on the horizon. Then you add in some atmospheric distortion, camera shake, digital zoom, and autofocus having a small emotional crisis, and suddenly Venus appears to be flashing, changing shape, or performing maneuvers that would concern several world governments. And so I can understand why this lady thought that her picture was of a UFO, because it definitely did look rather otherworldly. But Venus is not working alone. Jupiter can also appear unusually bright and seem to move when clouds are passing in front of it, or when you've been staring at it for a few minutes without a visual reference. Starlink satellites can look like an organized fleet traveling silently across the sky. The first time you see them, it can be impressive and just a little unsettling. I remember when I saw my first Starlink train. I was actually hanging out with Colorado MUFON, and we were doing a really neat class. And one of the evenings we were out there, I saw my first Starlink train. It was very, very impressive. And I can understand how it could be mistaken for alien spacecraft. Additionally, aircraft lights, especially landing lights, can appear to hover when a plane is flying directly towards you. It may look completely stationary until it turns and suddenly reveals that it was an airplane the entire time. I have a personal experience with that. About 5 years ago, I was out on coastal Alaska, and it was in the fall time, and it was at dusk. It was heavily foggy, and there was quite a bit of cloud cover in the sky as well. And I saw 3 orb-shaped bright lights that looked like they were coming straight towards me over the ocean. So I thought, wow, maybe it's a UFO. Another UFO to add to my mental catalog of sightings. So I decided to see if it was a UFO or something else using some investigative techniques. So I took note of the time and the direction I saw the lights, and then I hopped on flight radar to see if there was any aircraft in the area. And what do you know? There were 3 Cessnas that were traveling together, and through the weather conditions, it distorted their lights enough to look like they weren't airplanes anymore, but they were definitely Cessnas. Better luck next time, I guess. Additionally, balloons can also reflect sunlight, change, shape, rotate, and move in ways that look surprisingly unusual. Mylar balloons are especially talented at looking like alien spacecraft and impersonating the metallic ones. Drones can hover, stop, reverse direction, and display lights that don't always resemble traditional aircraft lighting. They can look strange, but they also usually operate relatively close to the ground. Chinese lanterns are another one. They can represent orange glowing bulbs, and they drift with the wind, rise slowly, and may suddenly disappear when the flame goes out. Meteors and space debris can create brilliant streaks, fragment into multiple objects, and also appear much closer to us than they actually are. And birds, you may not have known this one, but birds have also been misidentified as UFOs. Birds can represent many things, but UFOs they are not. They can reflect city lights and appear as strange formations, especially around sunset or sunrise. And lens flares, let's not forget lens flares. And lens flares create an odd, mysterious glowing object that moves whenever the camera moves, and you won't see it on what you're taking pictures of with the naked eye. You'll only see it through the camera lens. So if the object perfectly follows your camera, you may have just discovered an interesting intelligence living inside your lens. And it's likely a lens flare. And none of this means that people shouldn't report unusual sightings. Careful reports help we investigators identify ordinary objects and recognize the cases that remain genuinely unexplained. So keep watching the skies, record what you see, note the time and direction. Please don't zoom in on your photo or video. We can do that later for you using our equipment. And then, before we declare first contact, we will check the planets, planes, satellites, balloons, birds, and of course the camera lens. So, UAP or every day, it remains to be seen. If you see anything unusual or need to report a contact or abduction, please head on over to MUFON.com. Thank you so much. Until next time.